And welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI here at NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. I'm your coach for PRI, Rick Gailey, along with our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nato. And we're fortunate to be joined today by two gentlemen that are going to enlighten us on the playoffs coming up this week. We have Rod Walker from the New Orleans Advocate, sports writer extraordinaire, and Laurie DuPont, former head coach at Thibodaux, West St. John, Vanderbilt, Louisiana High School Coaches Association, Hall of Famer. Holy moly, if they would have thought it back at Nichols that you'd be in a Hall of Fame, Laurie, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, but I said it last year, and I'm going to continue to say it. Got a lot of coaches in the River Parish that's going to be in the Hall of Fame joining me. Right now it's me and Larry, but there's many more to come.
I hope so. And Rod, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me on.
Let's go ahead and start, Renee, with the Select Division I, which the finals are this Friday in the Superdome. We have Catholic of Baton Rouge, the 6th seed, playing the Rummel Raiders at 8:30 or later. The final game of the 4-game set Friday. What are our thoughts, Renee?
You know, Laurie would know this. He won 91% of his games when he was coaching. But these two coaches too, Jay Roth, 81% of his games he's been victorious, and Dale Weiner was 74%. So both these coaches have been very, very successful. Obviously, Rummel's got Chase Forcade running that offense, and Derek Munson, Christian Fulton, and Briston Guidry on defense going to be tough to run against and move the ball against. But Dale Weiner has a very high, explosive type offense.
Rod, what are your thoughts?
You know, you watch Catholic in the playoffs, and they've really just been a team that's just found ways to win, and that's what they'll have to do against this Rummel team that's really tough. And, you know, you think about Jay Roth's team, you usually think about the run game, but the past 2 weeks they've shown that they can really open it up and throw the ball. And you know, Chase Forcade has been on fire these past 2 weeks, and that's going to be really tough for Catholic to be able to stop that offense.
Exactly. Chase Forcade is certainly one of the keys to the game. Laurie, you've played in a bunch of finals, won most of them. What do you think?
I think the kingpin is still Rummel to beat. I think Rummel's got the better team. Don't get me wrong, Catholic of Baton Rouge has always been at the top with Coach Weiner. Both of them are future Hall of Fame coaches. Both of them have great programs, but I think the edge definitely has to go to Rummel. They won the Catholic League again, and they played the Catholic League again in the playoffs, and here they are in the finals again, and beat J.T. Curtis twice in a year. That says enough for me.
Yeah, I think they're the first team in the history of mankind to beat Curtis twice in the same season. We know how difficult that is. By the way, Catholic beat Evangel last week, 27-21 in overtime, and Rummel took care of Curtis, 24-10. And Rod, I think you alluded to this a little bit. It's almost like Catholic is a team of destiny in a sense that, you know, they held down Brother Martin last week, and then this past week, come from behind, 21 points down at Evangel.
Right, and that's unheard of as well. And you have to just kind of look at that and think that maybe this is their year. But you know, the thing that I think really helps Rummel out is this is their third time making it to the Dome in the last 4 years, and Catholic hadn't been there since, I think it's been 25 years since they've been there. So you know, all that may factor into this as well. And you know, you just have to like Rummel with that experience and just how dominant they've been all season, playing a brutal schedule.
That's right. Rummel not only 3 of the last 4, but 4 of the last 7. As well. They've done a remarkable job over there. And you've been on both sides of a finals, Laurie. You've been favored going into the game. You've been the underdog. If you're the underdog, let's say you're on the Catholic side, what do you have to try to do to beat a team like Rummel?
One play at a time. One play at a time. It's shut down to one game. Anything can happen in one game. That's what we used to always tell our kids, especially when we played against Evangel back-to-back years. We were big underdogs, but compete every down, and you never know what can happen. Turnovers are a big factor in a game. Momentum could change at any time. You never know in one game.
And Renee, a lot of prospects on both sides.
They really do, and we talked about some of them. Rummel has quite a few, especially on defense. But the thing is that, and something that Laurie touched on, you know, the game, it's tough to prepare, and you've been there, Rick, it's tough to prepare your team. Practicing is one thing, but when the lights come on and game day, it's really, really tough to match it. And Rummel's been back there a number of times. Some of these guys on this team of Rummel Raiders have played and won some state championship games. Dale Weiner's team have won some big games, but when you step between the stripes, when the lights come on, 8:30 on Friday, it'll take you a little while to adjust, and how long will it take for a Catholic to adjust to the speed of the game, what's at stake, and things like that. It's a little things, and like Laurie said, and Rod, it's just a fumble or interception or just a penalty could change the complexion of a game.
And looking at Select Division 4, St. Mary's from North Louisiana, the 4 seed, playing Southern Lab, the 6 seed. In the warm-up act at 10 o'clock in the morning, Rod, what kind of thoughts do you have about that matchup?
I think the first thing is that these teams are seeded 4 and 6 coming to the playoffs. They both knocked off the 1 and 2 seeds last week, so that tells you a lot about these two teams. When you have that early game, you just never know how kids are going to come out and respond at 10 o'clock in the morning. And playing football is always a little different atmosphere, but should be a really intriguing game with the 4 and the 6 seed. And St. Mary's comes in undefeated, so should be a really good one.
And in preparing your team, Laurie, can you possibly prepare your team for a 10 o'clock game?
It's different, but like once you get to that dome, you don't know what time it is anymore. I mean, these kids are in different atmosphere. They look up at the big lights and everything else. But one thing about St. Mary is St. Mary was Sports Writers pre-ranked #1 all year. They stayed #1 all year, which I thought was a great tribute to their program. And I really think the Kittens want to redeem themselves from last year's embarrassment in the finals against Ouachita Christian. I think that the edge goes to Ouachita Christian.
That's right.
I mean,
and
to
Southern Lab.
Southern Lab.
Right. And Southern Lab's playing their best football right now. They beat Vermilion Catholic 34-12. St. Mary's beat Ascension Episcopal 49-42. Renee, what are your thoughts?
St. Mary's averaging 48.5 points per game the last 2 weeks. That's explosive. And Southern Lab, first-year coach Marcus Randall, has beaten a #2 seed, Vermilion Catholic, and #3 seed Central Catholic, both by a pair of touchdowns. So they have not got here by mistake. They have earned their way to get in the dome.
And that's 2 of the games getting things started on this Friday in the Superdome, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning and going till all hours of the night. We have Division 1, Rummel Catholic, and then Division 4 starting things off, St. Mary's and Southern Lab. We'll be back after this timeout talking about the other half of the select bracket, and we'll meet Coach Don Rodrigue, defensive coordinator and recruiter extraordinaire, worked with us at St. James. We'll be back after this timeout. This is Prep Recruiting Insider from NOLA Motorsports Park in Avondale. We will be right back.